Tonight, folks, I'm not James, but you might be. Last time, we trudged through the jungle, defeated the return of Master Belch, and got our buddy Pooh back. All that to meet these really shy people, and to learn that our friend Apple Kid, who has absolutely bailed us out on multiple occasions, was kidnapped. We need to go to Winters to save him. But not because he's in danger, because he has a book we need. Hey, here's Maxwell, I think. Tony's missing. Also, last time I neglected to explain why the KC bat isn't very good. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna get rid of it. Basically, it's very strong, but it misses 75% of the time. In the Japanese, it was named Swing with All Your Might Back, but the translation punched it up, I feel. If you don't get the reference Casey, it's an old poem by Ernest Thayer called Casey at the Bat. At the end of this episode, I'm going to read that poem for you. I was just queuing it up on my phone. Anyway, the reason I came in here was to deposit my $15. As I've said before, if you get knocked out, your cash on hand drops by half. Admittedly, half of 15 is nothing, but still. Last time, we encountered crows and dogs and goats. This time, we're encountering whatever these things are. Oh yes, Paulo learned Freeze Omega. Strongest freeze spell, does a lot of damage to monsters that aren't strong against it. And Pooh Starstorm is very damaging as well. Holy Shambler is resistant to fire, but he can't diamondize me. Also, I got Jeff a couple of levels, but he stubbornly refused to gain IQ. So I'm like, I'll just continue. Let's see what we got here. Whirling Whirlwind. I don't mind. Yeah, Pooh still got the Viper. Viper has a really good chance of poisoning an opponent. I don't think you can poison any of these guys, though. Yes, this is the local color. Don't be afraid to go all out. Matter of fact, I'm gonna go all out on these guys. I'll show you in a second why you shouldn't be afraid to go all out. Disappeared. I think that's one of the few monsters where the death notice has disappeared. All of these healing tints are still here. You can get a full heal without incident. So yeah, absolutely do not be afraid to go all out against these guys. But yes, earlier when we were tackling Rainy Circle, if you had warped back to North Winters, you'd be fighting these guys. We were not equipped to fight them back then. Like, one of these guys has a, Sebastian Chum was kidnapped. That is... Don't really think that's an error, just kind of a hiccup on the translation. Obviously referred to him as Sebastian Chan. Chan being a Japanese honorific. So just kind of like, oh, I guess whoever's looking at it, I don't know if it was the main translator or not. This guy will still give us stew. Jeff is still only at 44 IQ. I think this one is the one with the phone. Okay. Maybe it's to the left. One of these tents has a phone in it. And I can save there. Because... Alright, this one I think. There we are. Save early, save often. Just like voting. Chewing gum isn't for blowing bubbles. I mean, I'm sure you can blow bubbles with it, but it's not designed for that. Maybe that's why it's called the bubble monkey. Maybe this monkey's just that good. Even if it's not designed to be for blowing bubbles. Yes, we will walk along, we will ride on Tessie again. Head back to South Winters. What a peaceful ride. What do we got here? We got the whole gang. This, fire, shoot the shambler, and Starstorm. The Woolly Shamblers have, I believe, a 1 in 64 chance of dropping a multi-bottle rocket. It's either that or a Horn of Life. But I think their palette swaps later on drop a Horn of Life. Yeah, we could have used a pencil eraser to bypass this, but it's not... Wow, I keep falling for the various mazes. Maze or no maze, it's still not terribly inconvenient. Well, I'm really just falling for everything today. I don't remember if any of the monsters will be in here if you avoided them. I'm not gonna bother calling my dad. And here's the Rainy Circle Cave. Elder Baddies, just palette swaps of Mr. Baddies from the second. Alright. And that's how powerful we've become. Jar of hot sauce. Okay. Alright. Didn't mean to fight this guy, but might as well. They don't give terrible experience. Heck, I might just go ahead and... That's not horrible experience, even split 4 ways. That's pretty easy. Not a bad place to level grind if I had decided to do such. There's Stonehenge. Stonehenge will be our destination. How on earth I got a green swirl? Viewers, you couldn't... I could not understand. There we go. Let's knock these dudes out. Easy enough. I'm about to get some free healing anyway. This guy sells some different stuff. Let's take a visit to the Inertron. But you're still making a played out joke. Let's talk to this mouse. Alright, we got a little time, so I am going to share with you the inspiration for the name Casey Bat. Written in, I believe, 1911 by Ernest Thayer. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville 9 that day. The score stood 4-2 with but 1 inning more to play. And then when Cooney died at first and Barrows did the same, a pall-like silence fell upon the patrons of the game. A straggling few got up to go in deep despair. The rest clung to the hope which springs eternal in the human breast. They thought, if only Casey could but get a whack at that, we'd put up even money now with Casey at the bat. But Flynn preceded Casey, as did also Jimmy Blake, and the former was a hoodoo while the latter was a cake. Also, like, just a disclaimer, this was 1911. I don't know what some of these words mean. If they're offensive now, I apologize. So upon that stricken multitude, grim melancholy sat, for there seemed but little chance of Casey getting to the bat. But Flynn let drive a single to the wonderment of all, and Blake, the much despised, tore the cover off the ball. And when the dust had lifted, and men saw what had occurred, there was Jimmy safe at second, and Flynn a hugging third. Then from 5,000 throats and more there rose a lusty yell. It rumbled through the valley, it rattled in the dell. It pounded on the mountain and recoiled upon the flat, for Casey, mighty Casey, was advancing to the bat. There was ease in Casey's manner as he stepped into his place. There was pride in Casey's bearing and a smile at Casey's face. And when responding to the others, he lightly doffed his hat. No stranger in the crowd could doubt 'twas Casey at the bat. 10,000 eyes were on him as he rubbed his hands with dirt. 5,000 tongues applauded when he wiped them on his shirt. Then while the writhing pitcher ground the ball into his hip, defiance flashed in Casey's eye, a sneer curled Casey's lip. And now the leather-covered sphere came hurtling through the air, and Casey stood a-watching it in haughty grandeur there. Close by the sturdy batsman, the ball unheeded sped. "That ain't my style," said Casey. "Strike one," the umpire said. From the benches black with people, there went up a muffled roar, like the beating of the storm waves on a stern and distant shore. "Kill him! Kill the umpire!" shouted someone on the stand, and it was likely they'd have killed him had not Casey raised his hand. With a smile of Christian charity, great Casey's visage shone. He stilled the rising tumult, he bade the game go on. He signaled to the pitcher, and once more the dun sphere flew. But Casey still ignored it, and the umpire said, "Strike two." "Fraud!" cried the maddened thousands, and echo answered, "Fraud." But one scornful look from Casey, and the audience was awed. They saw his face grow stern and cold, they saw his muscles strain, and they knew that Casey wouldn't let that ball go by again. The sneer is gone from Casey's lip, his teeth are clenched in hate. He pounds with cruel violence his bat upon the plate. And now the pitcher holds the ball, and now he lets it go. And now the air is shattered by the force of Casey's blow. Oh, somewhere in this favored land the sun is shining bright. The band is playing somewhere, and somewhere hearts are light. And somewhere men are laughing, and somewhere children shout. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. The poem is much longer than I remember. Anyway, I'm not James, but you might be. And remember, if you're the star baseball player and the game's riding on you, maybe swing at all three pitches. Just a thought. Hey, I'm not James again here, everybody. I'm really not, I swear to you. So I looked it up. The word hoodoo means bad luck, specifically someone who brings bad luck, and cake means kind of like a weak person. So, yeah, thankfully, it's just an archaic term, it's not an offensive one. Also, I really forgot how long that poem was. Everyone remembers Mighty Casey is struck out. And, like, maybe he gets it bad, but I didn't know there was, like, a whole story. So, yes, that is the story behind the name of the Casey bat. An iconic poem about baseball. My Switch went inactive for too long. Anyway, have a wonderful day, and seriously, like, if you were your team's star player, such that you were immortalized in poem, seriously, swing at all three pitches. Alright, bye everybody.